You can't understand today's big stories like Gaza and Ukraine without understanding the First World War. The first shots of the First World War were fired exactly 100 years ago this week. The war left more than 10 million dead and redrew the maps of both Europe and the Middle East. Here are the top 3 reasons that World War I, even a century after it began, continues to have a profound impact on the world today. The First World War destroyed the Russian Empire, which had ruled most of Ukraine until it became a separate country in 1917. Lenin's Bolsheviks reconquered the Ukraine, which maintained a fictional independence as part of the Soviet Union. That fictional independence became real after the Soviet Union disintegrated, but Vladimir Putin has never accepted it, and he's fighting today to bring Ukraine back under Moscow's control. The First World War also destroyed the Ottoman Empire, which had exercised formal but weak control over the Middle East for hundreds of years. The breakup of the Ottoman Empire led to the establishment of a whole host of new states, including Syria, Iraq, Lebanon, Jordan, and the Palestine Mandate, part of which became Israel. It's surprising that this division has actually endured until today for almost 100 years, but it has never established deep roots. Above all, the region has never accepted the legitimacy of a Jewish state, and that has been the cause of consistent violence. Although World War II had a more decisive impact on international relations, the continuing violence in the Middle East has its roots directly in World War I. After 3 years on the sidelines, the United States intervened decisively in the First World War, sending 2 million troops to fight on the Western Front. What was once a colony of European states now became the one holding the balance of power in Europe. After the war, the United States refused to exercise its power in the 1920s and the 1930s, condemning Europe to another catastrophic war. But after that war, the American commitment led to an unprecedented peace in Europe that has lasted until today. However, there are new threats, and we have to ask, is the United States still sufficiently committed to the peace of Europe to preserve it for the next generation? When we look at the world today, it's important to remember, it's not that we live in a powder keg or a pile of kindling where a surprising spark can set off a new global conflagration. The real issue we have to face are aggressive men like Vladimir Putin who are ready to use war as a means of advancing their ambitions rather than relying on diplomacy.